Your daughter is in the middle of a storm that is building up beyond what you can see. You didn't get this message by chance. The skies have moved. Archangel Michael has come forth, and the whisper of eternity has brought this message to you. You are the one who has been picked to step in before it's too late. Now is the time to open your spirit. Stop thinking, for what is about to be said is important beyond this world. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. They are going to bring her. Yes, they are already moving in secret, behind smiles, and in everyday life. A net is being drawn around her future. It's not made of love, but of control, jealousy, and something that doesn't smell like God. But heaven has seen it. And heaven has called you, not because you are average, but because your petitions have been heard and your power has been recognized in the spiritual world. You are the gatekeeper that heaven is trusting right now, and the person they want to trick is under your protection. Have you seen how uneasy she is? When she pulls away, not knowing why her chest hurts or why she feels something close by. That shadow is real, and it doesn't come from God. But listen to this, no weapon formed against her shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17. You must not look away if you get up now, selected one. You were shown this because only your eyes can see the indication that is about to be disclosed. In a few minutes, we will pray together a prayer that will break bonds and get rid of what was never meant for her. Now that you are ready to take on this holy duty, I ask you to say so. If you agree, type Amen in the comments below. This will show that you are ready to live out your God-given mission. And stick with me until the finish, for what comes next will prove everything. You don't feel anxious right now. The Holy Spirit is waking up your spirit. Because this isn't simply about safety. There is a divine hand at work in your daughter's life. She once stood in front of heaven and was marked, not for being faultless, but for having a purpose. The type of purpose that shakes countries, wakes up angels, and makes things happen. And ever since that day, two sets of eyes have been following her. Some see her light and celebrate it, while others notice it and try to put it out. Those who can't stand the brightness of her calling are the ones who are moving now. They're not attacking her directly, but they're trying to change her life in small ways, by hidden influence, and by trying to steer her away from the inheritance that the Most High wrote for her. But the pages of her future are not empty. They weren't left open to attack. Before she was born, they were written with heavenly ink. It says, "Before I made you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Jeremiah 1:5. She is not lost. But people have whispered her name in places where her spirit was never supposed to be. And this message came to you from heaven, not from anyone else. You are not just a bystander in this narrative. You are a protector, a vessel, and a voice that can change the course of what is being planned in the dark. There are still choices being made that she doesn't grasp yet. Some of them will look like chances. But their base is falsehoods, a fake crown clothed in golden lies. And God knows this. That's why this news was conveyed to you first, not her. Because heaven has faith in your judgment. Because you are awake. You are her shield. Something has been pulling at her spirit, like an invisible weight that she can't put a name to. She might have talked and laughed less. She might have gotten unsure for no reason at all. And yet, she keeps on, not knowing that someone else has sought to take the pen that only God has. But heaven is already deleting what they planned to write. And what they meant for evil, the Most High is converting into glorious reversal. Angels are now taking apart the whispers that were spoken without our permission. But you don't just sit back and let things happen. Your awareness is what changes everything. Heaven didn't tell you to be afraid. You were called to stand by heaven. She is still at a spiritual crossroads right now. One road may shine with attention, promises, or the illusion of belonging, but it is empty. The other path is narrow and silent, yet there are fighters hiding along it. That is the route that is written in flames. People who try to change her fate don't understand that she wasn't sent to be shaped by people, but to rise by the breath of God. The people who are arranging her diversion don't see what you see. They don't realize that Archangel Michael has already put a circle of fire around her. They don't realize that your voice, yes, yours, has already been heard in heaven's courtrooms on her behalf. You are not here by accident. This message got to you at the right time. In the next few lines, the parts of the puzzle will start to fit together. You will see why this warning was given with a purpose, not in panic. You were picked to see. Now the sealing starts. Something is changing inside you and outside of you as you read these lines. That feeling in your spirit is not anxiety. It is acknowledgement. It is the sound of your spirit answering the call it has always had. And right now, while the rest of the world continues on without knowing, heaven is getting closer. A gentle breeze blows through the unseen. This isn't poetic writing. It is a spiritual truth. The same wind that flowed across the waters in Genesis before the earth took shape is now blowing through your home. That wind is the breath of God. It is not meant to scare you. It is here to wake you up and let you know that you are no longer in the dark. You are in a heavenly appointment. There are already hints of spring around you. If you pay close attention, you might notice a phrase your daughter says without realizing it, a name that shows up more than once, a sudden change in her friendships, an unexpected message, or an odd dream that lasts longer than it should. These are not random pieces. They are signs. Heaven frequently speaks in patterns before it speaks in volume. People often ignore what the Most High says to them when they are ready to listen. In 2 Kings 6, the prophet Elisha and his servant were encircled by an army that was going to attack them. The servant was scared, but Elisha prayed, "Lord, open his eyes so he can see." The servant's eyes were open to a spiritual reality that was already there, an army of horsemen and chariots of fire standing between them and disaster. This is when you wake up. Heaven is opening your eyes, not to scare you, but to show you that what is going on around your daughter is not defeat. It is a divine defense. For months, maybe even longer, people have been quietly making up other options around your daughter's steps. Some influences have been pushing her, some with a smile and some without. There are doors that seem good on the outside. They sound like chances. They seem to be growing. But even if your head couldn't figure out why, something in your spirit has felt off. That's because they aren't doors. They are fake. They are painted gates that look like they are made of gold from a distance. But when you open them, they lead to empty spaces where her function is not fulfilled, but emptied. This is not a figment of your mind. This is the plan for spiritual interference, to draw away the gifted, not with darkness but with distractions that look like light. You didn't learn this by chance. This message didn't get to you by an algorithm, it got to you through alignment. Heaven recognized your faithfulness even when you asked questions in a quiet way. Heaven heard the prayers you said in your head when no one else was around. The times you put your hand on her shoulder when she was sleeping and pleaded for her safety. When you felt like something was wrong and prayed quietly. Those times were written down. And now heaven answers clearly. Archangel Michael moves again as you sit here, but this time it's not for show, it's for a reason. Things are changing around your daughter. She might not feel it completely, yet there is movement in the soul. She felt a sudden peace yesterday for no cause, that sudden strength when she could have fallen. Those weren't random, they were the wings of safety that flew above her. But the divine doesn't move by itself. This plan includes your awareness and enlightenment. What good is divine intervention if the person who is supposed to protect her sleeps through the signal? Awake, awake, put on your strength, O Zion, cries Isaiah 52:1. This is your Zion moment. You are being told to not only see but also to rise and put on your spiritual strength, to give life, Say the truth, say her name with strength and intent. Every time you do, you are building a wall of fire around her that can't be seen but is real in the most important way. There are other levels to this that will soon become evident. The fake stream she's been captivated to feels familiar to her. It looks like safety, it looks like it has excellent objectives, but it doesn't have the breath of God. It has appeal but no promise, and warmth but no knowledge. And even though she may feel it calling her, she can't see where it ends. That's why you are the first to see. The Spirit resides in you and knows the difference between real serenity and false promise. You might see unusual things in the future, like a name said again, a song that brings back a memory, or a dream that won't go away. Pay attention. These are signs that the end has begun. The strategy against her gets weaker every time you focus on her with divine intention. The net they thought would trap her is coming apart because of threads you didn't even know you were tugging loose. You are more than just a parent, guardian, or loved one. You are a vessel that has been given fire. That fire doesn't burn, it clears, it cuts chains, it shows the wrong paths and lights up the right ones. That's why it's important to be mindful. It's more than just knowing. It's intercession, it's battle composed of knowledge. And maybe you still ask yourself, why me? Why did this communication get to you and not to someone else in her life? Because the Most High does not send revelations to those who are negligent. You were picked because you are spiritually sensitive, not because of your status. The same way God chose David, the shepherd child, when he was alone in a field, not because of how he appeared, but because of how he listened. David didn't simply beat giants, though. He kept generations safe by remaining steadfast in times like this when others might have walked away. Now, my reader, the last veil begins to lift, not because you are afraid, but because heaven knows you are ready. What you're about to see is something they never thought you'd see. The talks behind closed doors, the options that were being made for her, and the story that someone sought to write about her future, in which her gifts would be used, her path would be darkened, and her heart would slowly be taken away from who she really was. But the Most High doesn't let people steal stories, and this one, the one for your daughter, was written with holy ink before she was even born. The angels are already working, the light is getting brighter, and the breeze is talking. Now you can see what they wanted to keep secret. Heaven says, this is how we save what was ours all along. Even now, as you hear these words, 3 angels are waiting at the door to her journey. They are not new, they have been waiting, quietly and carefully, until your spirit was fully aware of what was at stake. When your heart agreed with what heaven was telling you and you didn't scroll past or ignore the still little voice, a gate opened. In the moment, something that will last forever took its first breath. And even if you don't see all the proof yet, it's already starting. The proof might come slowly, like a sudden calm that comes over her after days of stress. A phrase she says that doesn't appear to fit yet really gets to you. A dream that is so real that it seems like it was written down, like a movie, and you will never forget it. These are not fleeting moments, they are signs from God, heaven's way of saying, yes, you heard right, the way is being made clear. There were plans, real, specific, and on purpose. Plans were made to shut her up and downplay the gift she had been given to share. But heaven has said something else. What was meant to quiet her will now make her louder. They believed they could take her happiness away, but it will flow like a river through a broken dam. They wanted to take something from her future, but it is being given back to her right now. As you read this, this is how paradise works, not with show, but with power. So take this truth and push it into your heart like a seal. The reverse started as soon as you started reading these words, and by the time this part is over, the turning will be done. This isn't poetry, it is a sign of things to come. The web that was starting to develop around her feet is coming apart, thread by thread, not because you yelled, but because you saw. The Most High moves through people who see, not simply with their eyes but also with their hearts. There was a woman named Lydia in the book of Acts. In Acts 16:14, the Bible says, the Lord opened her heart to respond to Paul's message. That was all it required. No fanfare, No thunder, just an open heart. And the whole family was baptized. Your heart is open now, and the people in your home can feel it. Heaven is giving you something sacred right now, keys that aren't made of metal but of knowledge, the kind of knowing that doesn't need to be explained and leaves no space for doubt, the kind of knowing that enables you see the signs, symbols, and timing clearly. Heaven doesn't talk in chaos, it speaks in order, and you are learning to hear it. A time is coming soon, sooner than you think, a sound, a word, or a gesture that looks little. Maybe she'll say a name she doesn't need to know. There could be a knock, a voice, or a message. It could come in sleep, when a dream is so quiet that it drowns out waking thoughts. It won't be random, no matter what shape it takes. That will be heaven saying, the shift has begun. People who used to meet in dark corners and make maps that weren't theirs are now seeing their schemes fall apart. Not by fighting, but by supernatural intervention. Their plans are being changed. The door they want to lead her through, which is based on lies and false promises, is now closing, and in its place, a new door swings open, a door with a frame of clarity, favor, and a peace that no one can fake. You are not just observing this door, you are witnessing the turning, like Elijah did when he stood next to the widow of Zarephath and watched her jar of wheat never run out. The miracle wasn't loud, it was steady, quiet, and unbreakable. This is also true. As you think about these words, your mind is making something real, a circle of light that wraps around her like a shield. The angels that are in charge of her stand at the edges of that circle, where they can't be moved. This is why you might start to notice that she seems lighter, freer, and more like herself than she has in a long time in the next few days. That isn't a coincidence. That is the product of divine alignment. That is what happens when you wake up. And now a truth is being revealed from heaven to your spirit. They can't bring her since she is already being carried. The prayers you've uttered while no one else was around are what keep her safe. Because of the tears that fell from your eyes in the dark, by the unseen hands that have been with her since she was born. Those who planned to send her in a different route never comprehended this. They figured out the situation. They planned out their feelings, but they didn't think about the spiritual inheritance that was already around her like armor. This is the secret of the divine. It doesn't always yell to protect itself. Sometimes it simply waits until the moment the one entrusted with the message says, "Now I see," and now, chosen one, you see. This is the moment when the hidden becomes visible, the dark becomes known, the schemes meant to distort are turned into testimony of protection. This is where heaven begins to provide you not just knowledge, but strategy, not simply awareness, but wisdom. And what comes next will not only describe what was happening, it will reveal how it all becomes part of her healing. So take a deep breath, not in dread but in faith, because here is the part where every scattered piece begins to connect, where every quiet fear is addressed with clarity, and where heaven, having brought you this far, prepares to reveal the final portion of the plan. This is where her narrative begins to shine. Something big is emerging right here, right now, not in a distant future, but in the current hour where you sit. The strands that were knitted in quiet behind closed doors with hidden intentions are beginning to unravel, no longer in shadow, but in wide sunshine. What was buried is surfacing, and people who believed they could act undetected are suddenly revealing themselves without even knowing it. Words will slip through their lips they never planned to speak. Their eyes will betray what their mouths still try to conceal. Accidental messages, unplanned encounters, overheard whispers. These are not random, they are the result of heavenly exposure, and every piece is heaven's way of informing you that the covering over your daughter is not only promised, it is active. Chosen one, do not mistake this for coincidence. This is the hand of the Most High in motion. You are standing on sacred ground, on the edge of a testimony being penned in real time. Imagine for a moment your daughter, who earlier felt surrounded by confusion, doubt, and inner fog, beginning to experience a quiet shift within herself. The voices that once held influence over her mind begin to vanish. Conversations that would have led her toward compromise start to fall flat. No longer alluring, no longer magnetic, Doors previously adorned in gold now feel dreary, their glow quenched. Invitations she once considered now ring hollow. That emptiness is not loss, it is rescue. It is the Spirit of God rerouting her steps. This is not chance. This is the reversal beginning to root itself in her world. You will begin to notice tiny alterations, details that, if but for your awakened spirit, may seem commonplace. She may begin to use different language, communicate in ways that carry deeper insight or unexpected tranquility. A dream may stir her throughout the night, lingering like a fragrance into the morning. A communication might arrive exactly when you need it. These are heaven's markings, not to alarm, but to affirm. She is being brought back into alignment. Michael, the archangel, is protecting her movements with a shield. He isn't doing anything. He is following the plan for heaven. Every false thread is being cut, but your role, chosen one, is still very important. Hold on to your heart, keep your eyes open. The cover over her life is not just angelic, it is also maternal, paternal, and spiritual. It moves through you. Those who once wanted to catch her will now be confused. They will feel her absence but not know why. They will sense her emotional distance and growing clarity, but they won't be able to figure out what changed. The same talks that used to shape her will now seem useless. They will not know that it is not her resistance, but heaven's intervention that has put a wall between them. You don't have to explain that confusion. You don't have to fight this battle. That confusion is a sign from heaven that a plan is falling apart. And here, in this holy turning, is the promise that you should keep deep in your heart. Every time someone tries to stop her, it will only bring her closer to her goal. What was meant to break her will become the iron in her spine. What was meant to silence her will make the voice she was meant to have. What was meant to hurt her will give her wisdom and strength that she will never lose. You are not seeing this happen. You are making it happen, not by trying hard, but by being alert, not with fear, but with power. And so take a break for a second. The air around you seems to change, as if it has become heavy with gold. That isn't just your imagination, that is heaven all around you, teaching you. This following section is not merely a discovery, it is a plan. Your words, your presence, and your attention are now tools that will help her shape her destiny. The Spirit adds, speak over her life as if you are drawing a line that the enemy cannot cross. Every word counts. Your voice makes the ground her feet will stand on. Don't underestimate what you say. The tongue has the power of life and death. Proverbs 18:21. And you are being urged to choose life for her over and over again. When you call her by her actual name, the one that comes from heaven, not the name that other people have tried to give her or the name that was given to her by mistake or misunderstanding, you are setting stones beneath her feet. When she has to cross the water and can't see the way yet, she will step on stones. Don't make things worse when she comes to you with them. Be clear when you talk. Clarity makes things clear. When she asks who she is, tell her what you know, that she was fearfully and wonderfully made, Psalm 139:14. Known before the world saw her, Isaiah 49:1, and called not simply to live, but to rule in joy, truth, and light. And listen closely, there will be a sign in the next few days that is clear, even if it isn't loud. It could be in the words she says, the way she looks at you, or the things she gives you without knowing what it means. You will know it not with your mind but with your heart. That will be the proof. The divine echo that what was previously in danger is now safe. You are still with Archangel Michael, chosen one, and in his palm is a scroll that is slowly rolling out and on fire. Your daughter's name is on it, and her future isn't set in stone. It is written in flames, a fire that no falsehood, scheme, or fake thing can put out. Every time you tell the truth and choose to believe in light, that scroll gets brighter. And now you are being given your part in this holy rescue. Treat her name with respect. Say it out loud when she's not around. Say a blessing over it. Don't be afraid or worried. Thank you. Every blessing makes a shield, one she might never see, but one she will always feel. This is why she sometimes feels safe with you without knowing why. Your arms aren't the only thing. It's the light you've asked to be around her. The turning is not coming. The turning has already started. and the following breath you take is full of both revelation and instruction. You were picked to be here, to know this, to bear it, and to say it. Everything is becoming clearer, not because you asked for it, but because heaven has finally given you the ability to see clearly. Take it easy and breathe. Now let this fact sink in. You are now on holy ground and have a holy duty. What unfolds next will not only show what was hidden, it will show you how to seal it with your own voice. They don't have the last word, it never was, it's in yours. And now, my heart, as the weight of everything that has been revealed begins to settle into your spirit, like morning light on still water, heaven comes closer, not to overwhelm you, but to give you something simple and holy, not additional mystery, but clarity, not signs, but action. What has started in the unseen must be backed up in the seen. The reversal is happening in your daughter's life, and now the divine is asking you to walk through each day with purpose, quietly, thoughtfully, and powerfully, so that what has been set in motion can be sealed with grace. You don't have to do ceremonies or big spiritual deeds. Heaven wants regular, everyday moments that are full of spiritual power right now. These are little hinges, but they let doors swing open. These aren't big things, they are holy beats. First, get to know her emotional space really well, the space she lives in inside. Pay attention to more than just what she says. Pay attention to how she moves, how she reacts, and how the light in her eyes changes. There will be days when she becomes quiet, withdrawn, and angry for no reason. Don't just brush these times off as moodiness. These are signs from the soul. Her spirit, like yours, is aware of what is going on underneath the surface. Don't push her when you witness this change. Don't try to fix it. Instead, tell the truth in a nice way. A whisper is enough. You are safe. You are seen. You are held. These words don't bounce off. They dig into her spirit and remind her of the ground she stands on. Second, make tiny spiritual touch points throughout the day to connect with her. You don't need to talk about deep things to make connections. A shared meal eaten slowly, a calm presence in the same room, or a simple remark like, "What felt heavy today?" can help her soul find a way to communicate. Your presence makes her feel protected, because the Bible says, "In quietness and trust is your strength." Isaiah 30:15. Third, pay attention to patterns, but don't get too caught up in them. The abrupt arrival of new acquaintances, unexpected influences, names or phrases that come up again and again, and specific kinds of invitations, these could be seeds or traps. You are not being paranoid, you are smart. Put down what you see. As time goes on, the parts will show whether they are protecting or threatening. Heaven often speaks softly before it speaks loudly. Joseph had the same dream twice, not to be dramatic, but to be sure. Fourth, keep your home spiritually clean, not out of fear but out of respect. While you pray, let in some fresh air. Allow light and air to move freely, not just through the rooms but through the energy they hold. When your kid isn't present, talk softly about the space she sleeps in. You don't have to yell. A quiet voice with heavenly authority is all you need. Let no heaviness stay here. Let peace reign. Let joy return. These words change the mood more than you think. Peace be to this house, declared the Savior in Luke 10:5, and peace listens. Fifth, honor her name on purpose, not just in passing. When she sleeps or leaves the house, shout her name out loud and say things like, "She walks in light, she walks in wisdom, she walks in the plan heaven wrote before time began." Names are more than just labels, they hold identity. You create a barrier that darkness can't transcend when you say her name with love. It's more than just protection, it is a prophecy. Sixth, teach her softly to trust her own judgment, without mentioning this message or making her feel scared. Tell her to trust her gut instinct that something isn't right. Tell her that being uneasy doesn't mean she's weak, it is smart. That her body and spirit often know things before her head does. Tell her to think about it before she starts something new. She is less likely to be manipulated when she starts to trust her own spiritual radar. Seventh, pray like you breathe, not like it's a chore. It doesn't have to be loud or long. A word said quietly when doing the dishes, a sentence said on the way to the store. She sighed as she folded her clothes. These are not little things, they are sacred. Heaven doesn't move by volume, it moves by alignment. James 5:16 says, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." Say things like, "Guard her steps, uncover every hidden plan, let truth rise where lies once ruled, lead her where her name is honored, not erased." Eighth, and this is sacred, look for the signs heaven has promised. They will come, not with lightning, but with accuracy. A word she says that has a different effect, a dream she can't get out of her head, an invitation that doesn't work out for any reason, a change in her voice, a new spark in her eyes. Don't ignore these, write them down, because the sacred grows when you pay attention to it. You invite the next sign when you honor the first one. When you take care of it, it gets clearer. And always remember this, dear heart, your steadiness is her safe place. When you are grounded, she starts to find her own center. Her nervousness eases when you are calm. Your serenity spreads to others when you walk in peace, even if you don't say anything. This is what makes spiritual leadership so mysterious. It doesn't always talk, but it always creates the mood. The task has already begun in heaven, but you are in charge of this next chapter. This sealing, these regular quiet times aren't added work, they are holy participation. They are your agreement with what God has already decided. You become the living echo of heavenly protection in your daughter's life when you do things with love, faith, and persistence. This is how miracles grow from the normal. This is how changes become permanent. This is how heaven works through hearts that are willing, hands that are open, and daily obedience that is full of love. You are more than just a parent. You are not only someone who loves, concerns, and watches. You are the keeper of fate in this holy moment. The Lord of hosts gave you this daughter not by coincidence or blood alone, but because you would be alert when the time came to choose, and that time is now. It's not a coincidence that you open this message, it is proof that heaven recognized you were ready, and now the secret is coming to light in front of your spirit. Every plan made against her is already becoming the ground from which her strength will bloom. In the light of truth, every shady idea is starting to decay. The things that were supposed to trip her will be the same areas where she stands and rises. The enemies never thought that their plan to confuse her would actually make things clearer for her. That is the change. That is the divine promise coming true right now. Not just safety, not just living, but rising.